Hey warrior, you, the one who's been through hell, who's questioned his worth, who's silently wondered if it's already too late. Maybe you've lost something, a relationship, a dream, a version of yourself you can't seem to find anymore. Maybe you're just tired of pretending you're okay when you're falling apart inside. But here's the truth. No one tells you. You're not broken because life hit you hard. You're broken because no one ever trained you to endure it. One man fails and stays down. Another fails and builds an empire from the ruins. What's the difference? Not luck, not resources, a code, a set of laws, and not the kind you find in self-help books, written by people who've never tasted suffering. I'm talking about timeless laws forged in war, exile, betrayal, lived by men like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. These weren't motivational speakers, they were warriors of the mind. And their code, it's still undefeated. This video isn't for men who want comfort. It's for men who want clarity. For the man who's done blaming the world, done asking for permission, done living like his emotions are his master. Because the truth is you don't need more motivation. You need a new law to live by. 10 of them. Each Stoic law you're about to hear is a weapon, a sharpened edge that cuts through weakness, fear, and confusion. This is the mindset that turns slaves into sages, emperors into legends, and ordinary men into something untouchable. We're not just going to quote philosophy like it's some decoration. Each law will be paired with a modern struggle, with brutal honesty, with zero sugarcoating. Because if your soul is bleeding, the last thing you need is another bandage. You need armor. Let's walk into the fire together, not to burn, but to forge. This is not inspiration. This is initiation. Let the laws begin. Law 1. End comfort. Begin strength. We must undergo a hard winter training and not rush into things for which we haven't prepared. Epictetus. There is no transformation without discomfort. But here's the disease most men are dying from today. Comfort, addiction. Wake up late, tap snooze, scroll, numb, complain about life, yet worship ease like it's salvation. You want to rebuild your life. You want to stop feeling like a shell of who you were meant to be. Then you must declare war on comfort. Every time you choose what feels good over what makes you grow, you weaken the part of you that's capable of greatness. Discipline doesn't die in pain. It dies in the arms of comfort. The Stoics didn't crave softness. They sought discomfort. They trained for it. Why? Because they knew life would test them without warning. And when that test came, they didn't want to flinch. They wanted to dominate. If your life is soft, you are not ready for what's coming. Comfort is killing your hunger, killing your edge, killing your self-respect. You don't build a mind of steel while binge-watching shows and hiding from hard conversations. You don't become unshakable while numbing yourself with dopamine and calling it self-care. You become powerful by choosing the cold, choosing the pain, choosing the moment your body says quit and saying, not yet. When you're tired, you train. When it's raining, you run. When your heart is broken, you keep moving. Not because it's fun, but because warriors don't wait for the battlefield to be fair. You must do something uncomfortable every single day. Make it a law, a ritual, a code. And I don't care how small it is. What matters is that it burns. The pain you choose becomes the pain you control. And the man who controls his pain, he becomes dangerous. So ask yourself, what comfort are you willing to kill today, so that a stronger man can be born tomorrow? Law 2. Master your emotions, or be owned by them. You have power over your mind. Not outside events, Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Most men aren't controlled by their circumstances, they're controlled by their emotions. They snap when someone disrespects them. They spiral when a woman leaves. They crumble under pressure, not because they're weak, but because they were never taught how to hold the storm. If your emotions own you, you are a slave in your own mind. Modern society celebrates emotional chaos. Just feel your feelings. Speak your truth. No one can tell you how to react. The Stoics would laugh. They didn't worship feelings. They trained them, not to suppress, but to command. Because if a man cannot control his reactions, he is a puppet. Pull the right string, and he explodes. Say the wrong word, and he collapses. Picture this: someone insults you. Do you rage? Do you crumble? Or do you hold your ground like a man who knows his value isn't on trial? The difference between power and weakness is this: reaction versus response. Your power begins the moment you pause. Take a breath. Observe. Separate fact from emotion. Then act, not from impulse, but from purpose. That's not passivity. That's unshakable control. Stoicism teaches that your peace is your responsibility. No matter how chaotic life gets, no one should be able to pull you off center unless you hand them the rope. Feel without being ruled. Let the anger rise, but don't speak from it. Let the sadness come, but don't drown in it. Respond with intention. Say less, meaning more. Observe without attachment. People will lie. People will fail. Life will twist. You stay rooted. You want to rebuild your life? Start with your reactions. Because the man who owns his emotions owns every room he walks into. Law 3. Kill the weak voice. Feed the warrior. Just keep in mind, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Epictetus. There are two voices inside every man. One whispers, "Sleep a little longer, just one more scroll. You deserve a break. She'll come back. It's okay to skip today." That voice is easy to love. It coddles you, cares for your feelings, tells you what you want to hear. But that voice is killing you. It's the weak voice, the liar, the manipulator. Then there's another voice, quieter, sharper. It doesn't care about your feelings. It speaks in commands, not comfort. It says, "Get up. Do it anyway. Cut the excuses. She's gone. Build without her. Suffer now so you don't rot later." That's the voice of the warrior. It lives inside you, but you have to feed it. And every day, with every decision, one of those voices gets stronger. Every time you listen to weakness, the warrior dies a little. Every time you follow discipline, the coward shrinks. This isn't about being emotionless. It's about being ruthless with the parts of you that want to stay small. The Stoics didn't entertain the weak voice. They trained the strong one. They didn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They asked, "Is this worthy of the man I'm becoming?" They didn't chase comfort. They chose the grind. They didn't let heartbreak paralyze them. They turned it into fuel. That voice inside you that tells you to rise early, train harder, focus longer. That voice is not your enemy. It's the real you trying to lead. But if you don't listen, the weak voice will run your life, with a smile on its face and chains in its hands. You want to rebuild yourself from the ruins. Silence the inner negotiator. Kill that voice that makes excuses for your worst habits. Feed the one that demands greatness, even when no one's watching. Every time you obey the warrior voice, you sharpen your edge. You rebuild your confidence. You earn your own respect. And when the world tests you, it won't be the loudest voice that saves you. It'll be the strongest. So make your choice. Law 4. Stop explaining. Start becoming. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. You say you want to be respected. You say you want peace, focus, strength, purpose. You say you're a man of discipline, of values, of growth. But what do your actions say? You say you're focused, but your screen time says otherwise. You say you want peace, but you argue with fools online. You say you're on your purpose, but you haven't moved an inch in months. That's the danger of modern life. Talking like a warrior, while living like a ghost. Social media has made performance the norm. Men post their wins, post their pain, post their plans, but when the phone is off, where's the work? Where's the silence? Where's the becoming? The Stoics didn't perform for applause. They didn't care how they looked. They cared who they were when no one was watching. Your mouth doesn't make you a man. Your rituals do. You don't need to explain your standards. You need to live with them. You don't need to defend your boundaries. You need to hold them. You don't need to preach Stoicism. You need to embody it. Every time you explain your growth, you dilute it. You open it up for debate. You justify what needs no defense. Let them think you're cold. Let them think you're distant. Let them think you're obsessed. While they talk, you build. While they laugh, you train. While they post, you transform. Stop showing the world your progress. Start shocking them with the results. You don't need to narrate your evolution. You need to live in integrity with it. When Marcus Aurelius said, "Be one," he didn't mean next week. He didn't mean when it's convenient. He meant now, this moment. Let your consistency speak. Let your silence work. Let your standards radiate. The loudest men are often the weakest, but the quiet ones who move in alignment, they become unstoppable. Law 5. Cut approval. Claim freedom. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus. You say you want to grow, but somewhere deep inside, you still want to be liked. You post your progress hoping they'll clap. You downplay your goals so you don't seem too intense. You hide your pain so you won't be judged. You shrink when you should speak. You agree when you should walk away. That need to be liked, understood, approved of, is choking your evolution. Because here's the truth. You cannot become powerful while needing to be popular. You cannot serve two masters. One path leads to validation. The other leads to freedom. Pick one. The Stoics didn't crave applause. They craved virtue, not approval. Alignment. Do you think Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome by asking what people thought of him? Do you think Epictetus survived slavery by trying to please the crowd? No, they didn't bend. They didn't explain. They stood, and when people didn't get it, they did it anyway. Here's the brutal truth. The more you grow, the more uncomfortable you make people. Why? Because your discipline reminds them of their laziness. Your clarity threatens their chaos. Your silence makes their noise deafening. So what do? They laugh. They criticize. They call you cold, arrogant, obsessed. Let them. That's not your problem. You didn't come here to be understood. You came here to become unshakable. Stop waiting for support. Stop asking for permission. Stop seeking comfort in the applause of people who are terrified of growth. Walk your path, even if it's lonely. Speak your truth, even if it's mocked. Hold your standard, even when it costs you everything. Because the freedom you gain when you no longer need approval, it's not just emotional, it's spiritual. That's when you move like a man who owns himself. Not for sale, not for applause, not for validation, just for purpose, for honor, for self-respect. From this moment on, drop the mask. Let them misunderstand you. Let them doubt you. Let them leave. And you keep building, keep sharpening, keep becoming. Law 6. Make discipline your religion. No man is free who is not a master of himself. Epictetus. Forget motivation. Forget inspiration. Forget the hype. Those are visitors. Discipline is the house you build. Because let's face it, you're not always going to feel like showing up. You're not always going to feel strong. You're not always going to feel focused, driven, or hungry. And that's exactly where most men lose the battle. They rely on moods instead of systems. But the Stoics knew better. They didn't depend on emotional weather. They built inner structures, daily disciplines that held them steady through storms. Discipline is not a punishment. It's your liberation. Your routine is your rescue mission. Still scrolling, still drifting. It's not because you lack potential. It's because you haven't made a vow, a code, a religion out of doing what needs to be done, no matter how you feel. You see, motivation is emotional. It whispers. Discipline commands. Motivation disappears. Discipline stays. Motivation asks, "What do I want today?" Discipline says, "This is what I do, regardless." You want to rebuild yourself from the ground up? Then you build a non-negotiable system. Wake at the same time. Move your body every day. Limit your screen. Master your food. Guard your time like treasure. Reflect. Repeat. Not because it's glamorous. Not because it makes for good content. Because it builds respect inside you. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your soul watches, and it remembers. It grows. It sharpens. It trusts you again. The Stoics didn't care how they felt. They cared about their duty, their virtue, their mission. Marcus Aurelius showed up on the battlefield while sick, grieving, and under siege. Not because it felt good, because it was time to act. So the next time your mind says, "I'll skip today," you answer, "That's not who I am," because the disciplined man moves forward, even when no one claps, no one sees, no one cares. And when do you stack enough disciplined days together? You wake up one morning and realize you're no longer broken, you're built. Law 7. Build walls around your focus. If you are everywhere, you are nowhere. Seneca. In today's world, distraction is the default. Your phone vibrates, your inbox screams. The algorithm knows your cravings better than you do. And while you scroll, your dreams bleed out quietly in the background. You don't need more time. You need more focus. The modern man isn't suffering from lack of ambition. He's drowning in noise. And here's the brutal truth. You cannot build a powerful life with a scattered mind. You say you want purpose, progress, peace, but your attention is scattered across TikTok, text messages, old wounds, and people who don't even matter. The Stoics understood the battlefield isn't out there. It's in here, your mind. And if you can't guard that fortress, you lose, period. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule an empire by multitasking. He trained his mind to stay locked in. Concentrate every minute, he wrote, on doing what's in front of you. One task, one thought, one purpose. Today, we're proud of being busy, but busyness is not the same as clarity. So here's the law. Your focus is sacred. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. And here's how you begin. Kill digital noise. Turn off notifications. Set limits. Use the phone. Don't let it use you. Create sacred blocks of deep work. 1 hour. No distractions. No excuses. Just you and what matters. Choose your inputs carefully. What you watch, hear, read. They shape your mind more than you think. Ask yourself this every morning. What deserves my energy today? And then say no to everything else. Because the unfocused man is easy to control. He reacts, he forgets, he breaks. But the focused man, he becomes a weapon. Laser-focused attention is your unfair advantage. It makes you unpredictable, efficient, respected, dangerous, in the best way. So from now on, every time something tries to steal your attention, ask, does this build the man I'm becoming? If not, shut it down. No guilt, no hesitation, just discipline. Because the man who masters his focus doesn't chase life, he shapes it. Law 8. Turn pain into power, or stay broken forever. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Seneca. You've been hurt. We all have. Loss, betrayal, failure, humiliation, you name it. But here's the brutal fork in the road. You either use it, or you bleed from it. Forever. Most men don't break because of pain. They break because they never transform that pain into something greater. They bottle it, numb it, distract themselves from it. But deep down, they're still that version of themselves who never got back up. And here's what the Stoics knew. Pain is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Seneca wasn't a philosopher in a library. He was exiled, betrayed, pushed to the edge. Marcus Aurelius watched his empire crumble and his children die. And yet they used it all as fuel, as a sharpening stone, as proof of their strength. Why? Because pain reveals. It strips you of illusion. It burns away weakness. And if you're willing, it rebuilds you as something more dangerous, more focused, more unstoppable. Your heartbreak, that's your forge. Your failure, that's your curriculum. Your regret, that's your resistance training. But only if you lean in. Only if you sit in the fire instead of running from it. Most men try to skip this step. They want to become strong without suffering, disciplined without discomfort, respected without rebuilding. But the Stoics would tell you, that's a fantasy. The only way out is through. So here's what you do. Write the pain, put it on paper, study it like it's a manual. Extract the lesson. Every scar carries a message. If you're bold enough to read it, use it as leverage. Let it fuel your workouts, your work ethic, your silence, your hunger. You're not a victim unless you choose to stay one. And pain is not a dead end. It's an invitation to rise harder, smarter, and clearer than before. You want a life worth respecting? Then stop wishing it didn't hurt. Start building from the burn. Because every great man you admire, he's not great in spite of the pain. He's great because he refused to waste it. Law 9. Own your past. Without excuse, without shame. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Let's stop pretending. You've made mistakes. You've betrayed your own standards. You've let people down. You've quit on yourself more times than you want to admit. That's real. That's human. But what's not acceptable? Still dragging those mistakes like a corpse into every new chapter of your life. Most men carry their past like a prison sentence. Shame eats them alive. Excuses cover up their wounds. And when they look in the mirror, all they see is a man defined by failure. But here's the truth. You can't fix your life by hating the man you used to be. You fix your life by owning him. The Stoics weren't saints. They didn't pretend to be perfect. They were warriors of accountability. Epictetus was born a slave. Seneca was exiled for political scandal. Marcus Aurelius made brutal war decisions that haunted him, but they never ran from their past. They faced it. I owned it, used it as fuel to become dangerously clear about who they would never be again. That's the Stoic law. Own your story, fully, completely, and without shame. So ask yourself, did you waste years on people who didn't deserve you? Own it. Did you run from hard conversations and break your word? Own it. Did you numb your pain instead of facing it? Own that too. Because every excuse you make is a brick in the wall that keeps you stuck. And every ounce of shame you carry only robs you of the fire you need to evolve. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to become undeniably real. Radical ownership is the ultimate liberation. Not to punish yourself, but to set yourself free. Because once you own your past, it can't own you. You stand taller, speak cleaner, move with purpose. You stop trying to convince people you've changed, and you show them. That's how reputations are reborn. That's how confidence is earned. That's how men rebuild themselves from rubble. So today, look yourself in the mirror. No lies, no filters, no hiding, and say, that was me, but it won't be again. Law 10. Live aligned. Let your actions prove everything. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Epictetus. This is where most men fail, not in knowledge, not in desire, not even in effort. They fail in alignment. They read all the books. They post the quotes. They talk about discipline, purpose, and growth. But their life, it tells a different story. You say you value time, yet you waste your mornings. You say you value strength, yet you avoid the hard things. You say you want peace, yet you let chaos live rent-free in your mind. This final Stoic law: no more contradictions. The man you say you are, the man you dream of becoming, he must match the man who wakes up every morning and moves through the world. Alignment is when your values and your actions shake hands. It's when your standards stop being a costume and start becoming your second skin. The Stoics didn't talk about virtue. They lived it. They didn't perform for applause. They stood firm in silence. And when life tested them, they didn't flinch, because they had nothing to fake. So let me ask you this. Do your actions match your identity? Do your habits reflect your goals? If someone watched you for a week, would they believe a word you say about who you are? If not, don't spiral, just realign. Because every day you write your story with decisions, not declarations. And if the strongest version of you walked in right now, would he recognize your routine? Would he nod in approval, or would he challenge you to rise? You don't need to shout your transformation. You need to live it so loudly that silence is enough. So no more talk, no more pretending, no more performing for people who don't even know who you really are. From now on, you move in truth. You act with precision. You live like the man you say you are, whether they see it or not, because alignment isn't about impressing the world. It's about earning your own respect. And when that alignment locks in, your mind calms, your path clears, your confidence becomes unshakable. Fix the mind, rebuild the man. You've now heard the 10 Stoic laws every broken man must live by. Not cute quotes, not motivational fluff, but real, ancient, battle-tested laws that rebuild men from the inside out. And if you've made it this far, you already know. This isn't about pretending to be strong. It's about becoming undeniable through your actions, your standards, and your alignment. Let's remember Law 1. You ended your comfort and stepped into the fire. Law 2. You took control of your emotions before they took control of you. Law 3. You silenced the weak voice and fed the warrior. Law 4. You stopped explaining and started becoming. Law 5. You cut approval and claimed your freedom. Law 6. You made discipline your unshakable foundation. Law 7. You built walls around your focus and protected your edge. Law 8. You turned pain into power instead of pretending you weren't hurting. Law 9. You faced your past like a man and refused to be ruled by it. Law 10. You aligned your words with your walk and stopped performing. These laws aren't meant to be remembered. They're meant to be lived. And no, you don't have to perfect all 10 tomorrow. But start with one, own it, breathe it, let it bleed into every part of your day until it becomes who you are, not just something you admire. Because here's what no one tells you. You're not broken, you're untrained. And that's fixable. The Stoics didn't rise in comfort. They rose in chaos. They rose in betrayal, exile, war, grief, failure, and still they chose clarity, discipline, and virtue. So what's stopping you? If they could turn pain into philosophy, you can turn your mess into a mission. Let this video be your line in the sand, where you stop drifting and start directing, where you stop surviving and start bemesting, where you stop blaming and start becoming. From this moment on, every decision you make is a brick. So ask yourself, am I building a man I would follow, or one I'd be ashamed of? And if this video lit a fire in you, then leave your mark. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I live by law, not by impulse, like the video. Comment with the law that hit you hardest. Share it with the man who needs it most. And subscribe, not for entertainment, but for evolution. Because we're not here to scroll, we're here to sharpen. This is Stoicism for the modern warrior, and your rebuilding begins now.